Town meeting day is a week from today, and another supervisory union is asking voters how they feel about closing a school.
Channel 3's Melissa Cooney joins us live after learning about the issue in Greensboro. Melissa.
Alyssa and John, Lakeview Elementary is home to 27 students K through 6, and it has a budget of nearly $1.2 million. Some members in the Mountain View Union School District think it would make sense to close the school, but that's not on the ballot just yet. What is on the town meeting day ballot is for the community to decide if they recommend a closure to the board. Then the board will make the next decision. Nestled among Caspian Lake in Greensboro, some of those connected with Lakeview Elementary feel strongly about its impact.
I'd love to see it stay open. Both of my children went here. My oldest grandson went here.
If you don't keep that small town family, people bringing their kids to school together, there's something that's lost in the soul of the village.
The towns considering this ballot measure are Greensboro, Stannard, Woodbury, and Hardwick.
I think they should close it because there's not enough students and the expenses of everything.
Some voters who send their students to Woodbury and Hardwick elementaries don't see Lakeview's full benefit compared to those schools, home to 56 and 222 students respectively.
I think they also should utilize those resources at a bigger school.
The conversation about Lakeview's feasibility is years in the making. Superintendent David Baker says he and the board began this conversation with staffing and declining enrollment the biggest concerns. Using each school's staffing costs divided by the number of students, it costs roughly $31,000 per student to educate in Lakeview, where Hardwick and Woodbury cost roughly in the $14,000 range to educate each student. The board is studying whether they should close the school in the future. Simultaneously, a group of taxpayers put through a petition to close Lakeview. That's the impetus of the ballot item, advising the board the opinion of the community.
When you're going to close a school in a community, it's a very difficult decision, and it's not always about just the money. It's about the heart and soul of that community, right? So that's why I think the board really wants to take the time and just take this as advisory.
Baker notes this is somewhat a result of Act 46, which forced mergers between Stannard and Greensboro with Woodbury and Hardwick.
Nobody can argue that closing a school, especially when you can absorb all of those kids into two of your existing schools, isn't going to save some money. It will. But the amount of money that it saves is really important to pay attention to that, because we've had all kinds of numbers floating around and how it's going to impact taxes, and taxes are going to drop like a rock, and that's not always true.
But the SU says there are too many variables to predict savings or expenses right now. Baker says he wants the voters to consider Greensboro community when voting too.
Whether we close or don't close, how can we bring all three campuses or two campuses together so that everybody feels part of the same system?
And if Lakeview is closed, the board can assign the building for other educational use. Live in the studio, Melissa Cooney, Channel 3 This Morning.